Okay, so we'll start off now. So look, really proud to welcome Victor Orta to the coaching family, My Personal Football Coach webinar. Thanks, Victor, for taking the time to join us. I know you're a very busy man.
Thank you for inviting me, and my pleasure to try share a bit my knowledge, and I hope try share all my experience in this Sunday.
Lovely, fantastic. Well, without further ado, Victor, would you like to progress when you start off with your presentation? Thank you.
Perfect. First of all, sorry if my English is not really good. I will try explain my ideas. It's different, and my passion for the game. I hope try use the English in a good way. I am going to share my presentation. One moment. Yes, it's easy now. This is my idea in try create my role of director of football. I think in football, the one of most important things is not only one road to win. I am going to explain what I believe is my idea to work in a club. But no, it's not the only way to win. It's a lot of successful examples about chief executive and director of football in the same role, about general manager success, about why not chairman making the role and with success. It's a lot of examples. We need to be humble and understand that it's not in football only one way to win. This is the idea that I have, but it's not the only idea. And I respect all the ways to win, because at the end, show that the football is really democratic in the ways to win. For me, in a club performance cycle, first, you need to try control the internal factors and the external factors. Obviously, the internal factor is most easy to control. External perhaps is a bit difficult, but you need to try. One thing that is a big surprise in a football club respect another companies is about the organization. In the football club, normally, it's not really good organization, because a lot of people make a lot of tasks with a lot of things to do. For me, it's really good that in a football club, you try to determine in each position, each role, in each situation, how are your tasks, how are your skills, how are your responsibilities. That for me is really important in all the sense in a football club. Then for me, it's really important the legitimacy. Obviously, that all the people works in football is works to win. It's clear. It's obviously the circumstance that you are here to try get success, to try dream with your villa a successful team. But I want win with legitimacy. In case of football, or in case of my role, by example, financial fair play, for put example. Because for me, in the medium and the long term, the legitimacy give more foundation and give more solid ideas to work. And for me, this is really important. And why not? And the most important, the balance between sports result, business result, community result. Now that today we are in the first position in championship, and suppose that is a good Sunday for all my fans, I think if I make a team with 6 Spaniards and 5 Italians, because my chairman is Italian, it's not the same feeling. We need to balance all these kind of things. We need to understand in which club we are. I am really small respect the club that I represented. The club is a concept that we need to understand is the most important, and always the club need to be below of you in all the decisions that you take. And for me, this is important about the try get the sport results, obviously with the economy sustainable for survive the club, and why in more decisive situation with respect of the community funds and all the environment that is in around of a club. Because for me, this is the key to make a sustainable and club performance cycle for the future. And why not? The ambition. The ambition is resumed in the quote of you can watch in the down of the slide. Sounds like a typical quote that you can find in a Mac for the breakfast. But it's true. When you have a ambition positive, like shoot for the moon, even if you miss it, you will land among the stars. It's really healthy for the idea of your club. When the first time one person contacted me with the possibility to work in Leeds United, my first proper remember was the Leeds United in European competitions. Was that I remember the first time when I was youngster. And now I am thinking, why not? I can help to bring the club to this position. And now sounds a big dream, but have this goal can give to you responsibility to grow in the project that you are leading. What qualities I think to work in football is the football background. What is the football background? It's not only the ex-former player. You can be ex-former coach. You can be a star in a club like the other. I was a fan in a moment, a really fan, the typical fan that is going to the hotels to ask for the autographs to the players. And I was journalist, I was agent, I was in a different positions in a football, and all this kind of a small experience made the Victor Orta that I am now, because still I have a proper fan in myself. Still I take a lot of ideas in my period of journalist, and even why not, I'm really clear when I was agent, for me it's really important. Academic education is a lot of things involved, because in my role, you need to have knowledge about HR, you need to have knowledge about laws, you need to have knowledge about technical choices in football, you need to have knowledge about economical, you need to have knowledge about big data. Wow, it's a lot of things around that you need to have knowledge in the role of director of football, and perhaps I need to learn daily, and I don't stop to learn. And not only in a book, is with the people that I have around me. That for me is really important. Why not? And again, we talk is about have passion for the game. I love my job. I love the game. I love football. And all the people know that more times is good, but more times is so bad. Today is a good Sunday, but if yesterday we lose, have an influence in the rest of your life, because this is the thing about the game. You need to have 24 hours. You always can watch a game on TV or analyze. You always can read a report from one of your scouts. You always can have a conversation with your coach or your chief executive or your owner. You need to feel really passion for this, because it's 724. And more times is good, more times is not really good. Why not qualification and team player? We always talk about how won our team play together. But trust me, I am important not for me, because I am completely nothing. I am important for the team that I have around, my scouts, my club secretary, all the things that work around me, make the things happy, that they are my eyes in the games. They are my people. They are the really important. I am absolutely nothing without one of these persons that work with me. And they are the really important in my role, because they give me a lot of value to my day by day. And they are the really important. And for me, this is a key to be a team player in football, because nobody win a battle alone. Okay, player recruitment, because all the people thinks that the player recruitment is the key of a director of football, and I agree, but perhaps it's 50, 60, 55, 70%. For me, this slide describes how can be a perfect signing for a club. I divide the situation in two: information and executive input. Information, obviously the scouting department, collect data in potential targets, in potential markets, basing a criteria set for the club, disseminate the information between the key decision, provide fast of player recruitment, information. This is the arrow with the head coach and the arrow with the football strategy leader or sporting director. Is the famous quote of Rafa Benitez in a winter market when he walked in Valencia that he said, I ask for a table, they bring me a sofa. I feel really proud to never bring a player without the okay of a manager. Because for me, the real key in a work of a sporting director is try and reach the work of your manager. The manager is the really important, and you need to be focused to give all the capacity to work to enrich the work of your manager. And in about the player recruitment, it's no one meeting in May before the market. It's the day by day, the knowledge, share experience, share opinions, discuss, and all the things that you can work and be clear in the point of view that you need to know about the kind of player can be successful for your coach. For me, this is really, really, really important, this synergy with your head coach. And then obviously, you need to involve the chief executive or the owner.
Sorry, Victor. Can you just refresh your URL, please? I've lost your audio. Just refresh the URL. Sorry, mate. Just if you refresh the address on the top of the screen. Just like log in again, basically. Just highlight the address and log in again. Sorry, there's a problem with the audio. Sorry. So just highlight the address. That's it. Sorry, we lost you there. There's a problem with the.
Now?
Yeah, I've got you there. I've got you back. Sorry.
Perfect. Perfect.
Sorry about that.
I go. I am going about to say that for me, a perfect recruitment is when one player crosses the door of your club, any people involved in the signing have the possibility to say no. Okay? This is really important. Why? Because all the people is involved. And now start my quote. Obviously, if it's a successful signing, it's a teamwork, and the queue for success is really long. If it's a failed signing, only the sporting director is the responsible. But no problem. It's part of my job. I need to assume the mistakes, like this kind of things. But the most important thing about this situation, I want all the people involved in the decision, but all the people have the chance to say no, in my opinion. Then for me, the skills in a sporting director obviously need to have extensive knowledge about football and football mechanisms in high level. Obviously need to be mental strength, resilience. Why the resilience? Because in football, success is really difficult and you need to pass bad moments. And you need to pass bad moments and advance. You need to, in the bad situations, continue the road. That is for me important. The ability to inject confidence and lead, because you are a bridge. You are a bridge between the board, between the directors, and between the staff, and between the pitch, and between the players. You are a bridge, and you need to have confidence to try all the people feel sure in the project, because you are the link. You need to be clever and manage these relations, because in the past, it's like a big gap between the boards and players and staff. And now, with the role of director of football, you are a bridge, and you need to be clever to try make this bridge the important key, because more time you only receive complaints about agents, players, staff, board, and you need to convert these complaints in useful information and the day by day in your club. And why not? It's really important. Have bravery and ability to make decisions. because at the end you are in a position to take decisions, and you can fail, you can be right, but then you need to take decisions, because it's not your role like director of football is absolutely nothing. And for me, this is another thing that is really important. Why I make the difference with a chief executive, and I need to be quick because because a chief executive have a lot of things involved: sponsors, a structure of the game, a structure of the club, on-file success. You need to be. It's difficult that one person is negotiating the sponsor in your shirt, and in the afternoon can watch a game, and in the night read a report from your scout. This is for me the real difficult situation about put this role in only one position. And again, with the sports tax as sport-time director, because you need to develop the football policy. You need to identify and recommend a head coach to work. You need to provide technical expertise in player recruitment. You need to have an oversee of the youth academy, because you need to implement succession planning in the sporting side. Obviously, I can know who is the best player under 12 in Leeds, but I give the responsibility to my academy manager. But under 16, under 18, under 23, I need to have an oversee for make the succession planning and have another idea and methodology in the academy. That for me is really important too. This is for me key too, because even the head coach have a lot of responsibilities to have. What I am thinking, what I prefer my head coach, Thursday watching Sweden under 21, Norway under 21, or watching a game of my rival. For me, this is important to provide and enrich the work of your head coach. Then for resume, the important elements of player recruitment process obviously is receive a technical recommendation from the head coach, like we discussed, identify the potential candidates based in this relevant criteria, examine financial and political ramification for the club on recruitment specific candidate, that is really important, and obviously never give only one option. We need to provide 3, 4, 5 options for a lot of situations. For situations have a strength in the negotiation, for the situation of a lot of things can change during the market, and then it's really important that you trust your knowledge, but because it's not this name, the second name is really worse. No, you need to be solid in the knowledge that all the options that you need to prioritize perhaps are different, but all have add value to your club in the process. This is our timeline scouting, okay? We start more or less in August, and its first period of view is quality and quantity. About these Class A leagues, where the Class A leagues, we are proactive in the information. This situation, what say? August, September, October, November, December, we try watch the most quality quantity games. And each month of each league, we make a best 11. But obviously, a best 11 in realistic market situation, cost, performance, age, situation of contract, potential. And this player, August, September, October, November, December, we name selected players, okay? We start January market and start the second period of the season. Then we made the quality view. What is the quality view? It is a game in Spain. Girona with 5 players selected against Alcorcón with 3 players selected in second division in Spain is 8 players, and it's another game. Malaga, 4 players selected against Mirandés, 2 players selected. We always watch the game with more selected players. This is the quality view, because I have my resource, and I am not a club like can have 2 scouts per country. Then one is my goal. My goal is try really know 200, 300 players that try know 3,000. This is for me the key, because now one important situation that is happening in football now is the information is there. All the people have information in video analysis, Y Scout, in stats, in statistics that I talk later if you want a small opinion about the statistics, about one player scored one goal in second division, in League One with 16 years old, and we can watch in Twitter after 2 minutes. The information is democratic, is cheap, is free. In the past, when I was in Sevilla Football Club, our goal is be the first to take the information. Now, this is a stupid goal. Now the goal is try convert and transform the information in knowledge useful for your club, in knowledge that you need to disseminate for take decision. For me, this is a key in this situation in football, and it's really important. Before, the information be the first was deficit. Now is manage the information is deficit. Because when we sign a player, we need to try minimize risk. First, obviously, in terms of technical, with the video analysis while scouting stat, you can receive and watch perhaps the last 2,000 minutes in a player. The same in physical, but it's the same. Obviously, scouting in live, you can detect it more physical situation about the players, and then you can minimize the risk in the first two things. Transition is more difficult. Now start the real problems. Why? Because you detected a player performing in this shape with these teammates in the same country that you, or in a different country, in the same league that you, or in a different league, and you need to imagine that this player put away of this environment and continue perform with you. It's not easy, because you can have a lot of objective opinion about that, but you need a lot of subjective opinions about that. When all the people told me about Monchi, my mentor in Sevilla Football Club, for me the best director of football in the world, he was massive in this point, because he always knows that this player can be better, but this player is better for Sevilla Football Club. And more times of this is not only analysis, it's intuition. I cannot find the right word in English, but it's smell the possibility that this player is successful for you. And then the real risk situation, because we are talking about people, we are talking about humans, that is the psychological way. Obviously, you can know that this player have this behavior in this country, have trained this. You can analyze the social media. You can discuss about a lot of things around, but at the end, it's a risk, and you need to assume this risk in a good way, because we need to assume the success in this kind of things like a part of the process, but you need to assume the fail like a part of the process, because we are talking about people, about humans, and it's really difficult to try put together these four characteristics to minimize the risk to try and sign a player. This is the tools that I am using now, the video in Guy Scout and Huddle, video and statistics in Stat. We have our database that is ESF with the same reports, same analysis of player characteristics, same notebook. And now we are working with the algorithms of big data, StatsBond, C-Skill, and Transfer Lab. In a quick opinion about the big data, I consider the 70% of my decision call all style, call expertise eyes, call the report classical, and I am using the 30% of the data. How I use the data? In two ways. First of all, I need to say that the football is improving a lot with the data, but I believe it's not a repetition of sports, like, by example, baseball, that you are repeat the same action and then you can create patterns to analyze the performance. In football, it's difficult to create these patterns. It's improving, the intelligence artificial is improving, but still it's a long way. I recommended one book. It's not about football, it's about data. That's his name is The Signal and the Noise. Is the Nate Silver, one of the most important person that know about the big data. And he believed that it's more important the quality data than the quantity data. This is determinant. And now we are working hard in this in football, but still it's a long process. Why I use these kind of things? By example, if I want a number 8 and I know my coach like that the number 8 can steal balls in the opposite side, I can know who is the 5 players that I choose more steals balls in the opposite side. If, by example, I don't have access to second division in Holland and I don't have people to watch, I can put a pattern of starts and create 5, 6, 7 names, the young player that my team start to monitor, because first the information was from the data, but then I put in my team to watch. This is use the data like a proper tool, information about you, not decisive, one more to analyze. And I respect the teams that use the data like determinant, and I respect that the data is for the players. I prefer the model mix. The human opinion is important, and the data is part of this kind of decision, okay? It's not only one of the other. I believe in the model integrated. That for me is really important. By example, we talk about psychological report, and for me the ideal situation is try know who is this player in concentration and focus, in stress management, in competitiveness, in self-confidence, in work ethic, in learning ability. But this is really difficult if you don't work with a player during 1 year or during 2 years. This is really difficult. Obviously, this is a good goal when we can make a psychological report of a player. But more times, all these opinions or of external people of your club or ex-mates, ex-coaches, that is opinion, but even we need to analyze why this player have this behavior there, then try minimize the risk in psychological is really difficult. Really difficult. For finish, I'm going to the schedule about the 30 minutes presentation. This presentation is more longer, but I understand that today I cannot use more time. For me, the key factors leading to success in football, first of all, is observation and analysis. That for me is important. If the owners and the people that is in the power in the club understand that long-term planning is a really good foundation for a club, because we need a team building between football and management, that for me is really important, with the job development that is really important. Then have authentic and legitimate community engagement, that is a key. We are here because we need to be happy, a lot of people that is behind us, that is the fans, because it's the core of the club, this kind of thing. They made all for his club without expecting nothing. Then we need to have the responsibility to give all our effort to be a lot of people that is behind you in this level. Like we discussed, balance between sporting, media, commercial, and community recruitment. One of these webinars that is really good, in one of the things that the COVID made good for us was the education. And now a lot of webinars, a lot of situations that the education of your staff for improve each day like professional, for me is an important goal. And like we discussed in a long-term planning, if you have a continuity and stability of technical structure, is really important for hard foundation for success. And then if you can get off this, I am sure that all the clubs in any level in the world can have success in the football world. Thank you for these 30 minutes. Was really quick, but I hope try explain what I understand the football and my core of football with this presentation.
Absolutely, really interesting, Victor. Thanks very much. I'll kick off some of the questions where it's the guys to give us some questions. You mentioned at the beginning there about the Leeds culture being really important. That you're not going to have 11 foreign players in there. Tell us a little bit about that, and what have you done to make that point in the club.
First of all, obviously, I have opinion from Leeds that I love when I was a fan, but my first year was decisive. I made a lot of mistakes my first year, and I cannot say anything. I made a lot of mistakes, and I understood my mistakes for growth. I understood what kind of player is good for Leeds United, what kind of coach can be good for Leeds United. And obviously, I spent 1 year trying to understand, because it's not the same when you are outside or inside. I know here the Leeds fans love the talent, but I know the Leeds fans love the effort too. That is really important. Try mix, love the intensity, love that for being a Leeds United player, you need to have really a strong mentality. You need to be a special player. And then I understood after my first year a lot of things about around the club, even in not his real position, that is the championship. I need to be more clear about my detecting football players. And not only this, the philosophy that like director of football I need put around the club. And obviously was my mistakes of the first year, like was the first situation that I understand where I am.
So do you mean by that sometimes that you may be trying to implement something that you've done previously at Seville, or have a similar culture at Seville, trying to implement a Seville culture at Leeds, and maybe then that wasn't so productive?
But they have a lot of things in common. By example, academy. Sevilla Football Club Academy produce a lot of talent, but obviously for being successful, you only cannot use the academy. You perhaps to bring good players. But by example, I cannot be arrived to Leeds and forgot the academy. One of our best decisions, like Chief Executive Angus Kinnear and Andrea Radicciani, is increase the investment in the academy with 3 million each year more. We improve the facilities for the first team and for the academy. Why? Because in Leeds United, the academy is really important. And like director of football, I need to give support this idea. It's true that I grow in a club like Sevilla Football Club, that the academy was deficit. Jesus Navas, Sergio Ramos, Jose Antonio Reyes, Antonio Puerta, that was a massive player, 3 World Cup winners in the Spanish World Cup won. And I need to feel the same here in Leeds United. I need to say that I need to bring the academy with the talent of outside and create the core. And for me, these kind of things, obviously, I was happy because I grow in Sevilla, but I detected the same in Leeds, and I need to respect this.
Do you have you mentioned that you give the academy manager the authority to obviously manage that, but do you have a say and influence in the style? You're adding a bit of Latin flavor as well to the academy, as well as that Leeds, that.
I have a really good luck with, for me, the best academy manager in the country, that is Alan Underwood, because we always link from the start in the modernity to understand the academy, in the modernity to grow. He's a person that solves all the problems, and the academy have always a lot of problems. And obviously, in a moment, arrive any problem to my table. But when arrive these problems, it's because it's deficit situation for this side. And my way of leading is give freedom and responsibility to all my people around, from the academy manager to a head of recruitment to a scout. I am not the typical person that what you make in this way, making this way. No, I prefer analyze the results, not the process. And I want to give freedom to the people make this. And with Adam was this level of communication, this level of demanding. Now we are trying big category 1 that for us is up, and he was in the process completely deficit. And I feel really proud to have this academy manager, because we are in the same line, and he knows that more times the distance between professional football and academy, and even I try to say not rivals because it's the same club, but distance here in Leeds have distance, but we are together because we know the success of the first team is good for all the people, really good for the academy. And the same, if we produce players from the academy, it's really good for all the people. And then this is the important thing, stay together. And with Adam, it's my pleasure, because to be honest, for me, the best academy manager in all the country.
Interesting. So for example, if you talked about knowing the best players in the 15s, the 16s, the 23s, for example. Do you obviously, how much do you take that in mind when you're recruiting new players in? How much you take in mind? Maybe we have a under 18 who's very good. I don't want to block his progress.
Yes, this is important, because imagine the academy recruitment like a cycle, and then the professional recruitment, another cycle. In a moment that the two cycles is a part that is together. And we need to share this together part, like you say. If I have under 18 playing defensive midfielder and center back playing with England under 17, obviously I cannot bring a French player playing in the same position. We need to align in this kind of things. And in our way of the first team idea, with a lot of youngsters around the first team, we need to provide quality for the youth academy to this. And then it's a constant communication. It's not, again, about one meeting in May. It's about briefings weekly about what's happening in the academy, what's happening in the first team, and stay together. And again, I feel really proud that Adam leading my academy, because make the things really easy to me. And I know the academy problems daily basis is a big job.
One of my friends is involved in the football agency world. He said, "Oh, he knew you." He said, "Oh, Victor's a good guy. He always picks up the phone when I ring him." How much of your time do you spend, speaking with agents, communicate? How much time does that take up? With that's part of the game.
I don't consider be a good person for make this, because if I don't make, I am a bad professional, and the agents are part of the process and providers, and more times give solutions to the clubs. Perhaps in the past, the agents was a part that they are provide technical recommendation. Okay, now it's changing, because again, with the information more open to all the people, the agents lose importance into give the technical expertise, but still they are really necessary for have information in terms of contract, in terms of a lot of things. And why not to provide a name that perhaps you don't know and try analyze with your team? And why not to help you to sort situations between another club and you? This is important. Then I don't feel a good person for take the phone an agent. I feel a bad professional if don't take the phones to agent, because it's part of my process. Yes, that if you want her that in market, perhaps I have 50 calls. Yes, obviously I have 50 calls, but perhaps I cannot answer to the next day or 2 days later, or a message that we are in. That is true that in market I can receive 50 to 60, even 70 daily calls. Yes, I receive in period of market of transfer. Yes.
There's a question from Darren. He says, what was the biggest thing you have learned since being at Leeds?
Wow, that was a Latin club in a lot of things. The passion of the fans. Be one club city is more than a football club. And I learned a lot about the culture of the effort. It's really good that I feel that is a lot of people around the club, that not only players, people that work in the club, really grafters. That is a word that I learned in your side. Really grafters that love this and work for the club. And Leeds United is not in the average of salaries of championship in terms of all professionals, of director of communication or director of the other, and they feel this badge. And for me, it was amazing, because I work in other clubs that they are more outside of the club, and I feel all the people involved in Leeds United love the club. And for me, I feel really proud to be part of this family, because we are a family in a lot of moments.
Another question, Darren. He says, does Leeds give you a different set of challenges compared to other clubs you have been involved in? Or just being in England, maybe?
One challenge in Leeds is we need to win. And I need to assume that I cannot explain the people that perhaps we are the 9th or 10th budget in the league, or 11 budget in the league. This is an excuse. But this is a challenge in the same time. You understand? I want to explain. I cannot say, no, hey, we are the 9, 10, 11 budget. This is our... No. You need to win. Forgot the budget. Forgot if we have another difference with the parachute payments of the Premier League clubs that they relegated. Forgot this. You need to win. And this is a challenge. And this is a challenge because it's the responsibility of 100 years of success and history in this club. And obviously, I make these kind of things to try win. And then it's a challenge, because more times you need to assume this responsibility like part of the process.
Question from Raphael. He asks you, at Leeds, what does recruitment look like at youth level? What kind of players do you look to recruit?
Now we improve a lot, because we signed Paul Midgley for recruiting players to 14 to 18. And then obviously still we are category 2. We make a lot of around Leeds, that is, to be honest, a lot of provide of talent. If we are category 1, perhaps we open more the recruitment to other part of the country, but we need to have the resource to give this possibility. We want to grow step by step.
Interesting. Question from Andrew says, with there being a lot of discussion around a manager's ability to manage up just as well as managing down, can you please share any advice around areas worth developing to grow and refine skills, or working with the management team above the manager? So what advice would you give somebody who aspires to work in your position?
You need to be in the part of relation with the manager. You need to support him. And even it's a moment that has discussions, you need to be the weak part, you need to have the compression. You need to have the other part to try help, because more times the manager are alone, and the responsibility, the pressure that they have is really important, and you need to be really careful. You need to be really clever. You need to support. And more times my advice is be the part more weak and try be more comprehensive and try be more dear and more kind, because more times the day by day of the manager is really difficult with a lot of 25 people managing the other, and then you need to be a constant support. For me, is the advice and you need to have, and obviously be part of these kind of things like emotional and technically if they want to you an advice, but you never to give a question mark. You need to answer. So you never need to say one thing. You need to answer to help your manager, in my opinion.
Here's a question from Dennis. He says, is it possible that you can tell us something about what a typical scout report format looks like at the club?
We describe 3 ways: physical, technical, and tactical. Each have around 5 or 6 descriptions about if different positions. Is not the same right back that winger or number 6 than a striker. Then we have a value with a number, and then we make a resume with a description. And then the most important situation that for me is a key is at the end of the report, I want an opinion that can be 5 lineup Leeds United, 4 squad Leeds United, 3 continuum monitor, and 2 on 1 that can be discarded. And you are telling me, why, Victor? It's only 1 game. But Saul, I don't want a description report, because a description report I can make. Because if you analyze a player, you can make a description. I want an opinion. And obviously, I am never going to assign a player because have a 5 on the report. And I never not sign because have 1. But obviously, if I analyze the report of all the scouts, 5, 4, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4. Wow, he's a good player. You understand me? For me, it's not the description, the definitive in our report. It's the opinion. And now even we are given another value that is performance of this day and potential, because perhaps the player have a bad performance, but like a scout, we detected that have a potential level. And you can put performance C, potential 4, because you think that the player can grow. And this is really useful, the information. Then is the reports that I want, reports that give me value, opinion, not description.
How many times would you watch a player before you sign a player, do you think, typically?
Minimum 25 games.
25 games.
Yeah.
And would you
live 10 to 15, and then video analysis a lot.
Interesting. And would you do other things in terms of looking at, at the player in terms of other background checks?
Obviously, at the end, the background you can get talking teammates, talking ex-coaches, giving information, social media. The classical thing that more times give to you value, but you need to be soft in this kind of things because it's difficult to get the perfect description.
There's a question from Andrew. He says, what key characteristics and strengths do you look for when recruiting coaches and managers?
For me, the best thing is they develop players. And I have the good luck because I have the best manager develop players, because make my work really easy. I give a player and he make the player better. This is a really good characteristic for a coach.
Interesting. Would you say that you look to recruit maybe younger players to develop and maybe have a resale value, or is a combination?
We need to part of philosophy of my club in this moment, because we need to know where we are. And perhaps we are now in a position like club that is better bring young players to create development and grow. This is obviously, perhaps in 4 years, our level is different and we can sign solid players. But now we need to know where we are. And this part of philosophy, for me, is again, know where is our situation in this moment.
Interesting. Another question from Andrew. He said, what do you see as the biggest challenges that elite football faces in the future? And any thoughts on preparing for this challenge would be hugely appreciated. So what are the biggest challenges you think in elite football coming up?
I am thinking now it's a crisis of center backs. I don't know, the produce of talent in center back is decreasing. It's really difficult. And I know that in the football, we need to go to a very good physical preparation that we are making, but we never can forget the technical preparation. That for me is another challenge, that not only go in the physical preparation.
Essentially, that one is the centre backs. Do you think there's just general there's a lack of quality centre backs coming up in England in particularly?
No, around the world.
Around the world.
I think now in the academies, because we make a really good detention of the talent, the centre backs don't have challenge, they have 16. Why? Because with 12 years old, they win 6-1, 7-1, with 14 you always, and they have real challenge until they have 16 years old. And then this is the situation that is the production of talent in the centre back is decreasing. It's my opinion. I don't know is the reason, but to be honest, it's difficult now to find talent in centre backs, because the quality of the pace of the attack players is increasing, but now you need to find a centre back quick, but that distribution with the ball, and wow, it's not easy. It's not easy.
Yeah, interesting. He said, that's a question from Paul. It says, hi, Victor. In terms of developing players, do you think English teams are at a disadvantage not having B teams like Spain?
I grow in a culture of B teams, and it's really good. Because we put a young player playing, by example, in Cádiz, Ramón de Carranza, in front of 12,000 fans, rival, and you grow. But I understand the philosophy in England is different. But perhaps we can put the B teams in national conference or the other, because I don't say that under 23 league is not good. I think it's good, but I grow in the philosophy of B teams, and for me the jump is a small respect of the competition of under 23 and B, and play now here in England is create a tournament that I love, that is Checker Trade Trophy. I love because it's tough games with young players, with mature players. Good challenge, good games, perhaps not around a lot of atmosphere, but it's a developed tournament for the B teams, really good. The Czech Trade Trophy, in my opinion.
How important is the loan system in helping develop talent?
When it's good, always is good. When it's bad, it's horrible. Then it's difficult to say. The loan, obviously, the short-term loans was a culture in England really important and now finished. And for me, I understand why finished for the FIFA regulations and this, but was a good moment. Now again, you need to choose really well the loans, because can be of big success or can be really fail. It's not in the medium, never alone, never.
Interesting. Here's a question from Jamie. He says, hi, Victor. Even in a good moment like this, how much preparation do you do in terms of identifying the next manager who will follow the current one, maybe?
It's like a daily basis work, because at the end, we have the best, but obviously it's the football players. You need to be updated around all these things.
Do you have like a scouting network for managers as well?
Obviously less, because I don't have a lot of tools, and I prefer to be focusing players, obviously.
Yeah. Here's a question for Sahil. How do you manage your scouting assignments, target identification, squad balance, wage structure, etc., knowing we are 90% in the Premier League next season, and so recruitment will be a whole different level?
I don't want to talk about this word that you talk, this name of this league. I don't want to talk today. I am a bit, you know.
Yeah.
I prefer don't talk. Sorry.
Absolutely.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. Question from Jan: how do you adapt your scouting network recruitment process to the one from Seville? Do they look very similar?
No, it's different. These classes one day need to change and say, wow, I am, by example, when I arrived in Middlesbrough, the first 4 months I travel around England watching Premier, Championship, League One or League Two. And then, by example, the chip of the player with the center defender or the contact, say, wow. My first 2 months was free kick, fall. What's happened? No. And then, wow. And then I need to assume that there's another things that here give importance and perhaps I don't give importance. And another thing that in Spain for me feel that is important here is not relevant. And then I need to change my point of view of successful situation of players. And was a change that take me time. Still, I think any player that can success here and not success in Spain and the opposite, really successful in Spain and bring in England. We talk about this in the presentation, transition. And wow, this transition was a part of my process and my challenge when I arrived.
So what are the main differences between Spanish football and English football, do you think?
For me, still here is the modern idea about the physical, but still the physical is deficit in quantum of transitions. You know, it's in Spain still a slow attack defense transition. Here is really quick in all the divisions. Perhaps different levels, but and then you need to players that need to report the effort constantly. And perhaps you have a player with really quality with the ball and is only playing 10 meters around. Here in England, you cannot play in 10 meters around because perhaps the next ball that you lose, you have 2 versus 1 in the right, and you need to move quickly, It's by example, one of the things that, to be honest, I feel that here is different, even for the situation of the nice pictures that always are really good in all the divisions and these kind of things, by example.
Do you think it's quite hard for some players from other leagues to adapt to the English game?
Yeah, it's really tough and it's really difficult because perhaps they need to change things that you are playing from the youth teams in Spain during years, and now one moment you need to even change movements. The typical movement of 6 Spanish that is horizontal, here in England is more vertical, the number 6, and then it's a situation that perhaps you need to move, and then it's difficult.
How do you anticipate that when you're scouting in terms of thinking about how long a player might take to adapt to?
Perhaps you need to think if the player have enough resource physical to make, and then decide this. Perhaps you never analyze making the movement, but you think, wow, have enough legs to make or not.
Here's a question from Jamie. Says, what do you hope to leave in your legacy at Leeds United?
Like, to be honest, obviously all the people want the promised land, but I feel really proud to give all from me, like personal and professional, to the club. And if I cannot judge this situation, but I hope leave a better club that I found. I hope get this. I am not sure, but I hope. It's my effort daily, obviously with results too.
A question from Jane says, will the current pandemic affect the player recruitment for next season?
I think the market will be strange in terms of a lot of loans, in my opinion.
Okay, and a question from Phil says, how many scouts do you have at Leeds and how many would watch a player prior to final decision being made?
I cross the scouts. I have English department and international department, but I cross a lot of time the information. I have 1 head of recruitment, 2 senior scouts, and 7 part-times in England, and 2 head of recruitment and 3 people in international. Total, with seniors we are 8 and part-times we are 7.
And what was it at Seville?
No, bueno, the international, 1 in Brussels that control all Belgium, Holland, North Germany, the other in south of Spain, and 2 in Madrid, and in Leeds, based in Leeds or around, obviously.
And what about you personally? What are your personal ambitions for the future? Maybe life after Leeds, maybe, if ever there is anything.
My only goal is Tuesday against Luton now. I cannot watch later. Obviously, my goal is try success the club that I am in this moment, and like one person say, leave a legacy. Then I will be the most happiest man in the world.
Fantastic, Victor. I think that's it. I think that's all the questions from everybody.
Thank you, Saul.
Appreciate it. Muchas gracias, amigo. Appreciate your time. Thanks very much, and good luck on Tuesday. Fingers crossed for you guys. I'm sure it's going to be good. Thanks everyone for joining us. Appreciate it. This one's going to go live on the Inside the Academy on the Inside Academy YouTube channel. Thanks for joining us, guys, and we'll see you soon.